Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody tuning into this World Hepatitis Alliance's webinar series. Today we're going to be talking about World Hepatitis Day, which is great. It's coming in on July 28th. And we're going to be unveiling the World Hepatitis Day campaign, the materials, but most importantly, we want to hear from you and what you have to say about it all. So, as you know, World Hepatitis Day is an initiative that we coordinate together with WHO. So with me here today to deliver this webinar for you, we have Brady Taylor, our Senior Communications Officer, the World Hepatitis Alliance, and also Tunga from the Global Hepatitis Program at the World Health Organization. Hello, everybody. Hello, Brady. Welcome, Tunga.
Hi. Thank you, Raquel.
I guess I should have introduced myself as well. Apologies for that. But to those who don't know me, my name is Raquel. I'm the CEO of the World Hepatitis Alliance, and I'm pleased to be here with you today. So just before we start this webinar, just a quick housekeeping things, just three very quick things from our side. The first one, I just would like to remind you all that you are able to ask us questions or comments throughout the webinar. There is a facility, a question box, just to the, if I'm not mistaken, right-hand side of your screen. So please do so. Secondly, at the end of this webinar, there's going to be a feedback form, something very, very short, because also, again, we want to hear from you. And not only are you going to be able to be telling us and giving us great feedback around this webinar, but also you're in for a chance to win £50 worth of Amazon voucher. So there's something in there for you too. And finally, I must have to explain, if you feel that my speech is a little bit odd or my smile is a little bit crooked, worry not. I have to say that and disclose that there's nothing wrong with me or your computers. I've just been to the dentist, so I apologize about that. Right. So without further ado, let me just kickstart this webinar, but by really just giving you a very, very brief overview of the amazing achievements from last year. So World Hepatitis Day 2016 was truly something, it was a success from our side. We saw 174 countries marking the date, which is really great. We saw 3/4 of our membership very engaged and 106 governments. Like, there was a lot of noise on social media, there was a lot of media activity as well, so I think that we should be all very proud of what we achieved last year. However, when we look at this year, we look at July, obviously we want to top that. And we can do it. So one of the objectives for this year's World Hepatitis Day is really create like that synergy and that spirit on the back of the global hepatitis strategy that really encompasses that call for action that we all need. We want to build the momentum from previous campaigns, and again, looking at that elimination strategy, and really remind everybody that elimination of hepatitis is possible. One of the things that we've been hearing a lot is that, oh yes, it's great to talk about it, but it's such an ambitious goal, and oh, it's so ambitious, everything is so ambitious. I'd like to say that yes, it is ambitious, but it's feasible, it is achievable, it's there, and we need to own it. And not only own it, but actually look at all of the countries that made a commitment last year and really start looking at the actions to implement this. And as we do that, and this is when we unveil the theme to you, and I'm pretty sure no one's going to be surprised, the theme is Eliminate Hepatitis. And again, on that, the reason why we're looking at Eliminate Hepatitis, another reason, is that if you see other movements or other successful movements, you'd see that they get very strong verbs attached to it. So you have, for instance, end HIV, stop TB, And with all of this noise that's been happening, thanks to you as well, around hepatitis, we thought it was very appropriate to own the eliminate. So with that, I guess I'd like to ask Tunga from WHO to perhaps explain to you all how WHO is going to be marking the day. But just before I do that, one thing that is very important this year that we haven't been really able to do in the past years, and we've been celebrating officially with WHO the day since 2011, is to really have a unified campaign feel, campaign theme. And this year, World Hepatitis Alliance and WHO are bringing together Eliminate Hepatitis. So what you can see right now in front of you is going to be very much a unified call from both organizations. But I guess I spoke a lot already. So Tunga, would you like to please perhaps explain a little bit more of what WHO is going to be doing?
Sure. Thank you, Raquel, and thanks, Friday. Good evening, good day, good morning to everybody. We are really excited to be joining you from the Global Hepatitis Program here in Geneva at the WHO. As Raquel mentioned, we at WHO have been collaborating with the World Hepatitis Alliance for the past several years, and we really acknowledge the WHA's leadership role in really spreading the words and awareness on the World Hepatitis Day, these annual campaigns around the world over the past few years. And this is a unique opportunity this year. We have a common theme and common visual package that we would like to unveil together in front of you today. So Eliminate Hepatitis is really the inspirational goal and inspirational slogan. As Raquel explained, the elimination strategy has been endorsed by the member states last year, and it happened in May, and we couldn't quite make it the theme of the WHO's World Hepatitis Day campaign last year. But this year we have a unique opportunity, because just last week we've launched the Global Hepatitis Report. Following on the steps of the elimination strategy, this first report really now outlines the baseline estimates on the global and regional burdens of viral hepatitis B and C in the world. So I don't know if many of you were able to follow the International Liver Congress that just has taken place last week in Amsterdam. This was one of our biggest launches for Global Hepatitis Program, and the report really shows how massive is the burden and of viral hepatitis, and how the world really needs to urgently act together to respond to the disease. So in terms of the key messages of the Global Hepatitis Report, I'll just show you two infographics we prepared, and they're all available on our WHO Hepatitis website. And these messages and infographics are extremely essential for what WHO will be advocating around the World Hepatitis Day this year. So the massive burden really shows that there are 257 million people in the world are living with chronic hepatitis B infections. You can see on the map that some of the regions have much higher rates than the others. Western Pacific region and WHO African regions have higher numbers of people and also higher prevalence rates. And this infographic normally animates, and the next image will show 71 million people have been living with chronic hepatitis C infections in the world, and higher prevalence rates are observed in WHO regions of Europe and Eastern Mediterranean. And altogether, 325 million people have been living with chronic viral hepatitis B and C infections as of 2015. This really shows that the viral hepatitis is a major disease in the world. It is an increasing global public health challenge, and we really need to recognize and acknowledge and act together to overcome this disease burden. So in the next infographic, which is again available on the WHO Hepatitis website, I'd like to explain the second key message of the report, which is, while there have been success stories, if you read the report, you will see there's been success stories in vaccination. There have been an improved blood safety and injection safety programs around the world, but really the major gaps in viral hepatitis care can be seen in testing and treatment scale-up. From this large number of people affected by the disease, we see for hepatitis B only 9%. For hepatitis C, only 20% have known of their diagnosis as of 2015. This really shows, if we compare it with the 2030 targets of 90% of testing, this really shows it's a massive gap. There is such a long way to go. And treatment, the progress is even little. Of the people who have already been diagnosed for hepatitis B, only 8%. For hepatitis C, only 7% people were able to access treatments. For hepatitis B, we know the lifelong treatments have been made available thanks to HIV programs in major high burden regions like Africa, but they are not just being delivered for people living with hepatitis. For hepatitis C, we know it's a rapid, if you compare with other diseases, cure, but very little people have access to it. So on the World Hepatitis Day 2017, WHO will really be designing messages around the findings of the Global Hepatitis Report to say, we have the elimination targets, now we have the baseline estimates. Now we see that there is a long road to go, but what can we do and how can we work together? So in the next slide, from WHO campaign planning, I'd just like to briefly explain what kind of materials and packages will be disseminated. For WHO, World Hepatitis Day is one of the 8 mandated health days. In May, many of you would know from other disease areas. For example, we commemorate No Tobacco Day. And in June, we have Blood Safety Day. And there are many other major health campaigns. For Hepatitis Day in July, we will be disseminating our campaign packages probably late in June or early July to all of our regional and country offices. We really focus to advocate for policymakers, particularly ministries of health, ministers of finance, education, at governments, and also wider range of stakeholders, of course, civil society organizations, funding organizations, which are direly needed to really increase hepatitis care. So we will obviously organize a major global public relations or media event in July, and our regional offices, as they've been doing in the past years, will be sending out high-level statements, really engaging top policymakers, public personalities, and health workers, and civil society, all of the stakeholders around the 28th July, the World Hepatitis Day campaign. So this year, we have the strategy. Now we have the figures, we have the estimates, and we really now can fast forward to eliminate hepatitis. We joined the global movement, No Hep, with the likes of, with the members, the grassroots organizations, with many regional and country affiliates of the World Hepatitis Alliance. We will be joining the No Hep movement to say that we have one common vision, that is to achieve elimination. So with this, I'll just invite all of you to look into the Global Hepatitis Report, which will be the background material for WHO to design the World Hepatitis Day campaign materials and messages. They're all available on our website, who.int/hepatitis. And if there are any questions and queries, you can always reach us by writing to hepatitis@who.int. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tunga. That's great. I got one question already coming from Uruguay, probably to reflect what's happening with the regional, actually the Global Hepatitis Report that carries a lot of global and regional data, but not so much the national data right now. And Uruguay was mentioning that perhaps there's not a lot of interest from the government of getting prevalence data. What could be done to push the government doing that?
Mm-hmm. So yes, this very report, the very first report was really based on global and regional estimates for the first time validated by WHO. Previously in Viral Hepatitis World, we've been citing various studies, various research findings, but this is really for the first time WHO is publishing global and regional estimates. This time again, the data is also limited. It's the best data we can gather and announce at this point of time. As our colleague from Uruguay is pointing out, many countries are missing the national strategies and plans, and that means that they're missing good quality data. But this is the beginning, and in the report, while it's not focused and can't be focused on countries at this point of time, there are some country examples are shown. For example, China, Egypt, Mongolia, and Gambia. They're all outlined how some countries, despite constraints and barriers, are really overcoming some of the policy issues and also price and trade issues to really make hepatitis K possible. So we hope that these country examples, these early champion country experiences, would inspire other experiences and other countries take action, and civil society colleagues and grassroots organizations. And by just doing this global campaign, we really would like to appeal to everyone to say, you know, we have the power to take an action, be a government or be an individual, be a community leader. You can speak up and then make a start today.
I agree with you, Tunga, and I just wanted to add to that and remind perhaps our colleagues from Uruguay that one of the things that would be really great is if you could try to get your government to come to our World Hepatitis Summit happening in November, because this is going to be a fantastic platform for countries to learn and from other countries, get inspired from other countries, but as well as from WHO on things such as collecting data, building a very strong surveillance system, and so on. So another thing that could be done there, aside from obviously pushing the advocacy side, but that is to try to get them to come to our summit. They all have been invited, all of the 194 countries, including Uruguay. But that's perhaps a topic for another webinar. So I want to bring it back to World Hepatitis Day and ask my colleague Bridie to talk a little bit more about implementing this Eliminate Hepatitis. Bridie, please.
Absolutely. Thank you very much, Raquel, and thank you, Tunga, for providing sort of a really great overview of how WHO will be using the theme this year for World Hepatitis Day. As Raquel says, I'm going to talk a bit more about how we can implement this theme. I think as Raquel and Tunga have shown, it really is the time to be pushing the Eliminate Hepatitis message. We have had, you know, last year was really the year we put this on the map, and with the new Global Hepatitis Report, we are continuing to show that urgent action is really needed, and this is an important message that we need to use World Hepatitis Day to really leverage. But for those of you who perhaps feel that Eliminate Hepatitis isn't necessarily one of your priorities, I'd like to just share a statistic with you from last year's World Hepatitis Day campaign. So as Tunga says, due to the strategy being quite close to World Hepatitis Day, WHO weren't able to use the elimination theme, but we at the World Hepatitis Alliance were able to, and we surveyed our membership organisations. That's around 250 civil society organisations in around 83 countries, and as many as 80% of those organisations referenced elimination in their activities. So I think this really shows that regardless of what you would plan to do on World Hepatitis Day, whether that perhaps is a rally to help raise awareness, or whether it's a testing event or vaccination, all of these things are key to achieving elimination. So certainly do not feel that whatever your plans are removed from this theme whatsoever. You know, we need to fill all these gaps to achieve elimination. And then I just wanted to sort of put that out there, but then we have sort of taken it one step further this year and tried to think about how we can really make elimination resonate with everybody. So we know for many sometimes the concept of elimination may seem quite lofty or perhaps clinical, and people just struggle to relate to this concept. So we really want to change that this year. And I think Raquel alluded to this earlier with this idea of owning it, but we really want to make sure that people can feel sort of connected to elimination, so that there's a human face to it and it's relevant to sort of everyone's life, regardless of where you are or who you are, and that also we increase understanding about how we can reach elimination, so that we have an understanding that we all play a part in this, and whatever you are doing, you can help achieve this goal. So we have at the World Hepatitis Alliance developed a campaign that we hope will achieve this and really make people feel personally connected to the theme of Eliminate Hepatitis. So I'd like to introduce we've launched this just today, which is extremely exciting, the Show Your Face campaign. So Show Your Face will sit within the overall campaign theme of Eliminate Hepatitis, but Show Your Face is a campaign that we hope all of you can use, as it's personal. It's a personalized Polaroid photo campaign that really focuses on individual human faces and statements that highlight how people are helping to achieve the elimination goal. So these are what we've termed I am statements, which are powerful personal messages that really show people how they can relate to elimination, how they can understand it, and help people feel empowered. So here are just a few of the posters that we have created, but this year very much we are encouraging you to really get creative. We have a customizable poster tool on our website and would love to see many more posters created by you with your own images and your own messages rather than these sample ones. We view these very much as just sample posters and really do want to see your faces and messages there. Just to give you an idea of how we would see the messaging shaping up, we think these messages could be things that focus on perhaps what you as an individual are doing to help eliminate viral hepatitis. So this could be, for example, I'm speaking out, I'm saving lives, or perhaps even I'm helping others, I'm contributing. There's really lots of you could do. You could have something about what you've already done to help achieve this. I'm making a difference, or I'm recognized, I'm determined, or really, playing on those emotions and encouraging others to take a stand in the fight. So this could be I am empowered, or I am in control, to show that you are sort of encouraging testing, or I am strong, or I am free. There is really so much you can do with this campaign. We believe you can be as flexible as you wish, and by adapting this campaign to your local priorities and experiences, this is really going to help people connect to it. So that's just, these are really just sort of there for inspiration. Please do go away and really create your own, because by having a really flexible and inclusive campaign, we're going to have the biggest impact.
And can I add there, right, if that's okay, because one of the things that I think it's very important, and Brady alluded to that already, but I wanted to reiterate, is that this campaign is very much about everybody having a role in the elimination of viral hepatitis, be it a small role, a massive, gigantic, enormous role, but no matter what kind of role you're playing, it's already helping. And this is what we want to do with this I Am campaign. And it's not only about the patient community or advocates, it's about medical professionals, it's about someone that has a relative, or someone that just feels that someone very passionate about social justice, that wants to lend support to the cause. So it really lends itself to any individual doing anything really to advance the elimination of our hepatitis. And that's why it's such a broad, you can do so much with the campaign. And as Bridie said, it's fully customizable. So I just wanted to add that the fact that you're really, no matter who you are, what you do, you can really participate in the campaign and help strengthen the voice.
Absolutely, thank you for reiterating that fact, Raquel. And in fact, we launched this just earlier today, and I've already seen on social media some people using that customizable poster tool to add their own images. So it's exactly what we want to see, to really do make this campaign your own. And as I say, to really make that happen, we've produced a variety of resources to help you really make the most of this campaign. We have the website, which I mentioned launched earlier today. Please do go and explore that website. There you will find the resources to download. You'll find further information about the Show Your Face campaign, and you'll also be able to use the customizable poster tool on that website. So please do go visit that website, worldhepatitisday.org. But we have also on that website, we have toolkits, we have infographics, and we have banners and lots of stuff to help bring the campaign to whatever you're planning for World Hepatitis Day. I also just want to mention these infographics. You'll see the first one here, which we launched last week to coincide with the Global Hepatitis Report launch from WHO. So this is the first one, and we will have an additional 4 released by the 31st of May, and these really do take the new data that the WHO has validated in the new report and really sort of distill it in an easy to understand way. So we'd really encourage you in particular to download these infographics, use them on social media, perhaps put them out at your events. You may want to put them up on your wall as a poster. You can use these however you wish, but it's using that new data to really get the message across. So that's the campaign materials. We also will be having a really exciting social media campaign to use the Show Your Face campaign. We think it lends itself really well to social media. We know so many people are always taking selfies, so why not do this, take a selfie for a good cause? And we will make it really, really easy for you to participate in Show Your Face on social media. So we are currently building a bespoke Show Your Face selfie tool. So we're having a special tool made specifically for this campaign that will be available from the 31st of May, and you'll be able to upload your own selfie and add your own statement instantly from your phone or computer, and it will have it will have the Polaroid branding that you've seen in the posters and be added to our Eliminate Hepatitis gallery instantly. So that's really exciting. Please watch this space for the 31st of May. And then I also just want to comment, obviously we've shared some really great photos here. This was from last week. We sort of did a bit of a teaser campaign ahead of this full launch today at the International Liver Congress that Tunga mentioned earlier. And as you can see, people are already really excited to sort of lend their face and their statements to the campaign. So we hope that this has enticed you all to watch this space until 31st of May and really get on board. We also,
because again, going back to obviously Friday, May, Tunga, everybody took their pictures. But also, again, going back to everybody has a role. We obviously got Gottfried from WHO, the Minister of Health of Georgia. So it's, as Bridie said, really appealing to everybody to do that. And hopefully with this tool that we have, so easy to do, we get everybody from all kinds of work there.
Exactly, and I think that's a really good point, Raquel, in that if you do have these connections to particularly sort of imminent people within the field of viral hepatitis, or even outside of that, perhaps, you know, a local celebrity or a politician, we would also suggest you encourage them to take part either through the tool or even creating Show Your Face selfie videos. So you could create short videos in which they share their I am statements, however they are contributing to the elimination, and that is going to be a really great way to also encourage people to take part in World Hepatitis Day and ensure that our message is reaching more people. So there's lots of exciting ways we can use social media this year to get the message out there. And we also think that the campaign there are interesting ways to include it in your activities. I know many of you will organise all sorts of different activities. Every year we hear about testing events, or we hear about marches, we hear about activities in squares, or we hear about sort of interesting things with sort of lighting up of statues. People really do organise a whole multitude of different events, and we really look forward to hearing all that. However, we'd also love for you to, as much as possible, include Show Your Face in your activities. So Here we've got a slightly mocked up version of a quite famous Oscar shot, along with our Eliminate Hepatitis Polaroid branding. But we think a really easy way to bring the Show Your Face campaign to your events would be to try and get the biggest sort of group selfie you can. Why should we limit selfies to just one person when WHD is all about sort of solidarity and coming together? So please, whatever you're doing, grab your colleagues, your friends, your family, and try and get the biggest selfie you can for World Hepatitis Day. We'd also, if you really want to show that you're, working towards elimination, why not wear No Hep Green? Today I've got my green on to show that we're fighting for elimination. So wear green if you can, just anything to show that we are sort of all together on this elimination goal. You can use the tool that we have on the website to add that branding. You could also create sort of giant selfie frames. We will have sort of designs for that for you, so you can sort of create giant Polaroid things to add to your selfies, sort of life-size selfies around people holding them up. There are lots of other things you could do as well, so perhaps even if you have got a giant selfie frame, why not go around your city taking photos with famous statues in these sort of Eliminate Hepatitis branding. Or you could even if you have access to a public space or perhaps a gallery, you could gather stories of people who are sort of working towards elimination or have been impacted by viral hepatitis and display their Show Your Face selfies and statements publicly. This is just...
Sorry, again, I'm just interrupting because one question just popped here, and I'm really sorry. I'm trying to check and at the same time answer some questions as they come. I'm trying to multitask, but maybe failing here. But apologies if I haven't yet addressed your question. But I got one now saying, Bridie, how do we make these frames? Can we order them from you, or will you have instructions online?
We will provide instructions. So we will, over the coming sort of month, provide sort of instructions on how you could create these. We won't be able to sort of ship any to anyone, as that we're hoping they'll be so big that they probably wouldn't really get through the post well. But we will provide instructions on the website for people who are wishing to do this. We actually last year saw some of our members actually doing this around No Hep, so we've seen it work really nicely before, and would love to see people do it again.
And one more question.
Sure.
Are we doing Thunderclap this year?
Yes, we will. So Thunderclap, you cannot set up until shortly after. I think it's about 6 weeks you're allowed to sort of be gathering that thunder before it claps. But we will have that set up again. We know that it's a great way to at least get our message out all at once. So again, watch this space, and we will be in touch again with sort of all what we'd say is the sort of the second coming of the campaign. So all the social media stuff, excuse me, we know makes sense to sort of come nearer the time. So don't worry, we will be in contact when all this is ready to go at the end of May. So yes.
Thank you.
Great, and as I said, there are lots and lots of ways to bring this really simple but fun but really sort of effective idea behind the Show Your Face campaign to your events. Do download the World Hepatitis Day campaign toolkit for more ideas. It's available from the website now, so do take a look. And then I think that's everything from me, and I'd love to sort of hear if anyone's got any more questions for myself, Raquel, or Tunga.
They do.
Great.
And as I said, I'm perhaps failing because we have so many coming. So let me just throw a couple more. Can we partner with organizations and business to organize a city selfie? Oh, someone very ambitious. We like that.
We do. Yes, of course. Yes,
right.
I mean, we'd certainly encourage as much as possible sort of partnerships between organizations. We have plans to sort of produce information and sort of send you more information about how you might engage businesses to participate. So we this is exactly the kind of thing we want to see, is as many people. This is the idea, not only behind the campaign itself, but behind the whole idea of elimination. As many of us coming together as possible to achieve a common goal. So exactly. please do. City selfies everywhere.
I have some questions for Tunga as well. Tunga, that's more relating to the global hepatitis report. So a very quick one is about obtaining hard copies. I guess WHO won't be shipping any, but it's only going to be available online. Is that correct?
Yes, that is correct. We'll send a few copies to our offices, but generally we don't send hard copies to WHO. Just doesn't have that kind of resources. So I think our country offices, also regional offices, sometimes organize our own local printing, and so it's only through WHO's regional or country offices.
And another one from you is about it's someone from Mauritius. Can we expect participation from WHO country office in Mauritius?
Sure. Normally, for all of these WHO mandated campaigns, what happens is that we send central guidance to all of our WHO regional leaders, but also WHO country representatives. And they often engage groups of stakeholders, and including the government, to develop activities. And we send some common instructions. And often the epidemics and issues are quite different in regions and countries. And in some cases, they even tailor some of the messages depending on the burden of the disease. So please feel free to reach out to the country office and to colleagues within WHO at the country or at the regional level, so that that more the merrier, I'm sure.
Yes, and again, like I remember seeing from your presentation early on when you're talking about dates, and unfortunately, because WHO has all these other events happening, there's an order to that, and the communication from headquarters to country offices or regional offices and then country offices is going to happen a little bit later. But for all of you already knowing that the theme is going to be eliminate hepatitis, knowing that WHO is going to be basing their campaign around this report, which is already out, I would really very much encourage you not to wait for that, but to already start planning your campaign or having ideas of how to mark the date. So one of the things that I wanted to point out. One other question, one for Bridie, one for Tunga, around NoHep, interesting enough. What is NoHep's role in the World Hepatitis Day campaign? And immediately after, to Tunga, does WHO support NoHep?
Okay, so in the first question, sorry.
No, Tunga, you go first. That's absolutely fine.
Okay, great. So yes, just following up on your first, on previous question, I'd just like to confirm what Raquel said, to say that eliminate hepatitis is the same for WHO. So it is also for the World Hepatitis Alliance. So I just want to make it absolutely clear that there is no doubt from WHO side that there would be a different theme. So the theme is that the visual banner is also a joint banner. So the green banner that you've seen where hepatitis word is erased, signifying the eliminate hepatitis meaning, is going to be used in all of our materials from WHO, the Alliance, and the other partners. So we should all proceed to make local versions, translations, develop other tailored versions for your own activities around this theme and around the messages. Specific messages will be developed, that's for sure, because in WHO, things happen, things change quite a lot. But again, to really confirm that the findings of the Global Hepatitis Report will really be the baseline idea behind the WHO messages. Probably we'll develop very specific messages also following after the World Health Assembly, just coming around the corner. And WHO will also have a new leadership, and then so we will develop more precise messages in June for Hepatitis Day campaign. And regarding the NoHep movement, this is a global umbrella, in a way, identity trail, I would say. It's a big, we take it at the WHO department as the red ribbon movement for global HIV fight. So this is very much to create a unified symbol and unifying idea for the hepatitis movement. And from WHO, we very much support the No Hep movement, and we really acknowledge and proud of the Alliance and other leaders really spearheading the No Hep movement, signing up local coalitions, local unions, local groups of patient organizations joining the movement, and really making it a much larger and unified global mobilization. That's what we are really behind. And the WHO does not really sign major logos or we have a lot of global campaigns that we are part of, but in hepatitis, No Hep is the global movement that we are very much backing, and we are in full support and endorsement behind the No Hep. And we hope that the movement will really garner power and the ground over the coming years, so that it really can show how wide and global we are, with the common goal to eliminate viral hepatitis by 2030.
Great, and I think Tunga's summed up No Hep really well there. Thank you. Just to add onto that, on how we sort of view No Hep within World Hepatitis Day, it is exactly that umbrella movement. It is the red ribbon of viral hepatitis, and it's not owned by sort of anyone that runs World Hepatitis Day or anything like that. But we, No Hep is that thing that sort of brings everything everyone's doing under one platform throughout the year. But World Hepatitis Day remains sort of the key day in the calendar to really promote awareness and for people to take action. I think even the stats from last year show that. So No Hep's role in World Hepatitis Day is exactly sort of that almost that stamp of this is a efforts towards elimination, and is part of sort of a wider thing. And I also understand sort of that the No Hep Secretariat will also be issuing sort of their own activities on World Hepatitis Day. So there will be obviously the World Hepatitis Day will be the 1-year anniversary of the launch of No Hep. So this year there will be a sort of a mini documentary being launched to really sort of show the activities in the world sort of working towards achieving elimination. That documentary will come out on World Hepatitis Day, so there will be lots of different activities that No Hep will also be sort of using on World Hepatitis Day. But it's exactly that in it. It's that red ribbon. It's the thing that sort of shows that we're working towards elimination together.
And on that, another question that just popped up is around, is No Hep Eliminate Hepatitis movement to be celebrated only on the 28th of July, or can it be ongoing all year round? And I guess it goes back to that No Hep really is, what we're trying to do is all year round. But on World Hepatitis Day, that's when we know for sure that we can really maximize how loud we can shout, perhaps, and really try to bring in the noise when everybody's celebrating the day. So I guess I'm already answering that question. I think that we will try to do our best on World Hepatitis Day. By all means, use No Hep from the 29th of July onwards to the next World Hepatitis Day, because we really want to create momentum with hepatitis. We're talking about elimination in 2030. And what we don't want to happen is, now the government's committed to it, so they perhaps turn their attention elsewhere. We want to make sure that no, there is a real commitment, we have a real deadline, it's possible, and we can't forget about it. One other question that I got, this is from our friends from Coalition Plus. Hello, Brady, Raquel, Tunga. With regards to the banner, does it mean we can include it in our communications materials too? Do you have graphic guidelines? So are there specifications around the use of the banner?
We'd encourage you to use it as much as you wish. So it really is a thing to sort of show for World Hepatitis Day, but please do use in any communications. We do think that it will automatic, as it will be on World Hepatitis Day collateral, people will see it and sort of assume it's WHD, but please do use. One of the as we were developing it, we actually sort of very quickly realized that the Eliminate Hepatitis fits so nicely with No Hep, as it really does explain for those, No Hep is still in its infancy, and we've done really well launching it so far, and there is some really great traction across the world. People are really starting to get involved, but perhaps sometimes the awareness isn't quite there. So the Eliminate Hepatitis banner is also helping there in really, really helping people understand what the goal is.
Can we use the infographics for free?
Of course. It's all free. It's all free.
And not only the infographics, all of the other materials, the customizable tool, the selfie tool, it's all there for you to use and yes, disseminate the messages. One other perhaps comment here from our colleagues from Peru. Hola Peru, ¿cómo estás? They are saying, obviously, July 28th in their country is their, I think, Independence Day. So they won't be able to be marking on the day, but they are just saying that they promise to be doing something the week after. So I think it's more of a comment showing their support here. Always good to hear from our friends from Peru. Finally, and I'm conscious of time, but we still have questions coming. That's a question around submitting national activities to the No Hep video. Can we do that? So can we submit our World Hepatitis Day national activities to the No Hep video? If so, by when and how? Which contact should be used? Perhaps a question to you, Bridie.
Yeah, I can answer that question. So as the documentary is launching on World Hepatitis Day, we have a deadline for receiving submissions that's coming up very soon. I understand that it's actually next week. So if you have other activities that you're interested in profiling, please do get in contact. There's my email address at the end of this. Please feel free to get in touch with me. Otherwise, Tara, the communications manager here at the World Hepatitis Alliance, is spearheading and leading on that video. So either Tara or otherwise I can forward across your details. But it is next week, so we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to profile you if you've got that great footage. But as we're launching World Hepatitis Day, it will have to be things that have already taken place. But there will, of course, be lots of other opportunities to profile what you've done on World Hepatitis Day. As always, we'll produce a summary report, and we always like to see as many photos and information about your activities. It makes all the planning we do for World Hepatitis Day, it makes it worthwhile when we see the action on the ground. So please share with us, even if it's not going to be in the video, please send it to us after World Hepatitis Day anyway.
Perfect. I guess one question for Tunga, back to the Global Hepatitis Report. A lot of interest from around the Global Hepatitis Report, which is great. Last week's launch. That is around the data, because obviously the data in the report is from 2015. So the question is, why is the data from 2015 and not 2016?
Okay, so first of all, well, this is the first WHO report on viral hepatitis, and this is the best data we've got. And I think from this year onwards, there would probably be either annual or biannual global reports. WHO, as you know, publish annual reports on major diseases, global TB report, global malaria report, and HIV report together with UNAIDS. So this is the beginning of a new initiative at WHO, and I think the data systems are fairly new, fairly limited, and this is the best effort. So the best data we had so far were from 2015, and that's why the estimates are based on this data. And from here onwards, and we believe that many more countries will take up on the call and will develop and improve their surveillance systems so that WHO will be able to publish improved, better hepatitis data, so that they can also point to improved policies in countries over the coming years. Thanks for the question.
I could not really reiterate the importance of this report. I mean, this is really a milestone for all of us. It really sets a benchmark for us to as I mentioned before, now we have the goal of elimination 2030, and this is what we needed to really measure progress. So at least now we know where we are, which is what Tunga said. It's okay, it's from 2015, but it's the best we got, and it's really, I mean, you have really good data in there. And now we can from there and build year on year, and hopefully, as I mentioned, there's going to be more to come in the World Hepatitis Summit happening in Brazil in the end of the year, and hopefully countries will start developing national strategies, elimination strategies even, and we'll be able to build on this data. So many more questions, but I guess I only have time for one more, which is World Hepatitis Day logo and other materials, all downloadable from the website. Is that correct?
Exactly, yep. All from the campaign materials page on the website. You should find everything you need there, and materials are available in English and also the other 6 languages we work in: French, Spanish, Portuguese, Russian, Chinese, and Arabic. But if your language isn't there and you've got the resources to help us translate it, get in contact with us. We'd love to hear from you, and if we can have even more languages translated, let's do it. And then obviously a note on the customize or poster tool. It's entirely customizable, so regardless of your language, you can use it.
And on that note, I just wanted to thank our presenters and conclude this webinar, and just let you know that if you have any questions around again materials, and if for some reason we weren't able to address them because we've run out of time, do contact us. You know where to find us. So get back to us, and we'll be able to follow up outside of this space. Some key dates there for you here. Campaign launch, obviously today, website live for all of you. Social media campaign, 31st of May, and obviously World Hepatitis Day. Very much hope all of you are going to be joining your colleagues 28th of July. So thank you very much once again, and from all of us here, good evening, good morning, and good afternoon, and till next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much.
Bye. Thank you. Bye-bye.